this multi-party charter for South Africa, seen as an agreement by 7 political parties to establish an alternative government to the ANC post next year's elections. The DA, IFP, FF+, ActionSA, the UIM, the Spectrum National Party and the Independent South African National Civics Organization all signed a declaration to this end this week. This charter is open to all other political parties that are participating in the elections, except, of course, for the ANC and, we're told, the EFF. What else do you and I need to know about it? Well, let's bring in Herman Mashaba. He's ActionSA's leader, was among those leaders in Kempton Park in the week gone by, and joins us now via our video link. Great to see you as always, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time. So much has been said about this agreement. Those who are with you in that particular signing, describing it as a watershed moment, as being historic. But I've listened to some South Africans who've also had a thing or two to say. Many skeptics worried that this is also something that's largely untested in our country. What's your message to people who are concerned that the return on their investment in the form of their support for you may not be what they hope for?
No, good morning to Yanda, and good morning to your listeners. Unfortunately, I think it's human nature. There are people in this world who will always look at everything in their lives in a negative fashion. I think you find it difficult when such a historic watershed agreement was signed by political parties committed to the future of our country and putting people of South Africa first. But I think it is a fact. You can imagine what was signed and agreed upon. It's a threat to those who have destroyed our country, made us a laughingstock of the world. Obviously, this is it's a threat to them, and it's understandable. So they will do everything possible to project it in a bad light. And this for us who to look at life as a positive issue. The life is a challenging thing. Is this going to be a walk in the park? Absolutely not. Is it necessary? More than necessary, because we've learned, taken learning experiences from local government, multi-party coalitions. So we're going to national. So we need to start preparing ourselves to find ways to mitigate the risk of those experiences. And that's what we've achieved. That's why we now inviting other political parties who share the same priorities and values with us to really join us. We are inviting civil society organizations to really be part of this process. We are working to ensure that the disenfranchised South Africans who've given up on politics, we bring them back, because the success of this country is totally dependent on a peaceful transition. And a peaceful transition would really mean that we've got to get the plus minus 27 million South Africans who have given up on voting, half of them not registered. We need to attract them back into the democratic process.
Sure. How worried are you as ActionSA that the support you've received from some of your constituency was as a result of your leaving the DA? And now that you're possibly going to work with the DA again, some people will turn their back on you.
Well, I'm sure, Ayanda, you saw what we did last week. You know, ActionSA, as you are aware, just to remind you and your listeners, viewers, is that this party was founded on engagement of South Africans. 2.4 million South Africans gave us a scientific mandate to start this political party. And we've always been engaging them, including actually participating in this exercise. 92% of ActionSA people gave us the mandate to really participate in this, because they are understand the likelihood, the very high likelihood of no one party receiving 50+1 majority. So in that case, people want ActionSA to be part of government. So they want a stable government. They want us as human beings to be able to manage and mitigate the risk. So we've consulted our people, our supporters, and they've given us the mandate, and they're excited right now. If you really follow our platforms, actioners, people of South Africa, a big number of South Africans are actually quite excited with this new development.
Okay. Let's talk about the nuts and bolts if we can. My understanding is that part of the agreement here is that if you do get a majority as this multi-party charter for South Africa, then the largest organization within the agreement essentially heads up business leadership, which in layman's terms is the deputy president role. But is there an agreement around how the president is then chosen?
No, I think let me just really give you a sense, and I think our contract is on all our website. We've obviously provided to the media. What we agreed is that the president of this multi-party charter it does not necessarily have to be the party with majority. So I think we'll have to really look at the president who appeals to the broader South African public. That's really what we agreed. But however, we're saying to accommodate the party that is going to emerge as the largest, then let them be the leader of executive business in government, not the deputy president. What this position entails, and it's in our constitution, and the ANC is not utilizing this because this position is to ensure that we hold the executive accountable. So basically what we are doing here, we are establishing checks and balances as coalition partners, that as we run the executive and the president run the work of government, let one of us actually hold them accountable and report to Parliament in a manner that there's no way anyone would really be covering for each other. It is about accountability.
I suppose the question for many people, though, is, does that automatically mean that the party that receives a majority is disqualified from being able to bring forward a candidate for the presidency?
No. We are saying it's not necessarily. We might have a party because we're not sure who's going to emerge as the biggest party in this arrangement. No, neither you and I actually know. So that is why we are saying that it is not necessary. It might really be the party that gets the majority emerging as the one suitable and capable of leading this as a president. So we are saying it is not necessary.
How is this multi-party charter for South Africa then insulating itself from having the kind of disagreements that launch even this pack itself into the chaos we've seen characterizing a lot of the metros, especially in Gauteng? Because if, these things aren't set in stone, many people, I suppose, could be watching and thinking to themselves, well, this charter is as open to the disagreements around this as any other coalition agreement has been.
I think, let's really be fair to ourselves. I think, honestly, we're going to be fooling ourselves as South Africans if we think life is going to be a bed of roses. That life does not exist anywhere in the world. That's why it's important to really have this pre-arrangement. We're going to contest as ActionSA. Other parties are also going to contest what's elections as their own identity. This is in the event that not a single one of them gets a majority, but combined we can form a government. We can have 50 plus 1. It is for that reason that we've negotiated this core values, priorities of this government, the commitment not to really work with the ANC, very important, and make sure that our executive is going to be merit-based appointments. So it does not really mean that if you're a party qualifying to have 4 or 5 executives, you can just give us anyone. You've got to give us people to occupy positions on the basis of merit. That is very important for us. And what I'm excited about to really deal with the level of deep-rooted corruption in our country, where we agreed on doing lifestyle audit on anyone that's going to really be appointed on any executive position. And we do that lifestyle audit and we make the results public before you can really be appointed. In that way, it's going to really help the embarrassment that we can have where parties just impose someone. Just to give you an example, look at the current mayor of the city of Johannesburg. We discover afterwards as South Africans that this man was a scam, and the parties are not doing anything about it. In our case, we are going to run professional lifestyle or independent lifestyle audit, and the results thereof are going to really be made public before we can accept you to really serve on the executive.
Yeah. How is the PAC protecting itself from being abused? In other words, an organization signs to be part of this particular agreement, contests the elections, gets support under the disguise of being part of the agreement, then decides to pull out when the results are announced because the ANC has cozied to that organization. How do you protect yourself from that kind of abuse?
Well, look, it would really be South Africans who must make the decision on that particular party. You can imagine, this agreement was signed in front of the entire nation. So the 60 million South Africans are aware that these parties have committed not to work with the ANC. If you are so devious that you operate in that way, I can tell you then take that chance yourself. I think we can't put you in jail. What can you do? But one thing for sure, people of South Africa will feel betrayed. And I think and I believe very strongly that it will be the end of that political party in a few years' time.
All right. ActionSA's leader is Herman Mashaba. Thanks very much indeed for your time, sir. So I think tells me this is the first of many discussions you and I will have.